Hello everyone, welcome to Inconvenient Truths. I'm your host, Jennifer. Long time no see, as I've been busy translating a super important historic video. It is a secret military court trial held by the CCP. I hope you have at least watched part of it. The defendant in this extraordinary trial was Qinxian. He was the former commander of the People's Liberation Army 28th Group Army, who refused to carry out the martial law order during the Tiananmen student movement in 1989. Even today, this should still be a top state secret. But on November 24th, someone uploaded it to the internet. Both the leak itself and the content of the video caused a huge stir inside and outside of China. The 6-hour trial contains an enormous amount of information. It's hard to absorb it all at once. To help English-speaking audiences understand this important historic document, I spent nearly 20 days watching and translating the full 6 hours of footage. I checked the subtitles 9 by 9. Of course, I know most people do not have time to watch all 6 hours. So today, I will summarize the key points of these historic documents for you. Key point 1, the martial law order that prepared for mass killing. How many troops the CCP sent to Beijing to suppress the Tiananmen democracy movement has always been a taboo topic. Official reports never give numbers. Researchers outside the system can only make estimates. This trial video, however, gives the first official confirmation of the scale of the troop deployment, at least for the Beijing military region. A written testimony by Peng Cuifeng, head of the operations department of the Beijing Military Region Command, was read aloud in the court. It stated, quote, "According to Chairman Deng Xiaoping's decision, the Central Military Commission transferred 50,000 troops from the Beijing troop region. The 38th Army, 15,000. The 6th Fifth Army, 10,000. The 6th Third Army, 10,000. The 27th Army, 10,000. The 3rd Guard Division of the Beijing Garrison, 5,000. The 1st Guard Division prepared 1,000 as mobile reserve. The 24th Army and the units directly under the military region were to prepare but not move for the time being. Specific tasks would be decided by Li Peng and Qiao Shi, including timing and order of entry. All units were required to complete entry before dawn of the 21st, so the martial law order could be announced that morning. Secrecy must be strictly maintained. Troops were to carry light weapons, pistols, submachine guns, and a small number of light machine guns. Ammunition, 50 rounds per submachine guns, 1 basic load per light machine gun. Pack them in boxes by company. Distribute later. Prepare 200 to 300 armored vehicles. Keep them mostly in the suburbs. Use them for duty as needed. Wear helmets, leather shoes, summer uniforms, bring backpacks, toiletries, cooking vehicles, everything. All troops move by truck. First, stay in some buildings, later set up tents, command base in the Western Hills, set up command groups in the city as needed, quickly pass orders to all units, unquote. In addition, during questioning by the presiding judge Wei Shibin, then vice president of the Beijing Military Court, Xu Qinxian stated that on May 18, 1989, Beijing Military Region Political Commissar Liu Zhenghua, Deputy Commander Li Laizhu, and Chief of Staff Zhou Yuqin ordered him to enter Beijing to enforce martial law. They required the troops to carry light and heavy machine guns, including anti-aircraft machine guns. These details are shocking. They make people gasp. It becomes clear that the decision to kill on a large scale had already been made before May 18th. Otherwise, why bring heavy machine guns, anti-aircraft machine guns, and armored vehicles? After the Tiananmen massacre, state television repeatedly showed footage of so-called rioters burning soldiers on buses. This was used to justify claims of self-defense and restoring order. The trial record proves these claims were shameless lies. The court testimony showed that the decision to use deadly force was made in mid-May. It had nothing to do with later actions by the public. In fact, the troop numbers mentioned in this trial referred only to the Beijing military region. According to studies of the 1989 Tiananmen movement, the total number of troops deployed to Beijing is estimated to have been between 200,000 and 300,000. Key point 2. Who was responsible for the massacre? In the official narrative, the martial law order was signed by then Premier Li Peng, but the question of who directly ordered the shooting and bloodshed has never been openly acknowledged. This trial record gives a clear answer. The decision was made by chairman of the CCP's Central Military Commission Deng Xiaoping and vice chairman Yang Shangkun and a few others. Liu Zhenhua's testimony said, quote, "The army's execution of the martial law mission was approved by Chairman Deng Xiaoping and decided by the Central Military Commission." Unquote. Peng Cuifeng's testimony stated, quote, "According to Chairman Deng Xiaoping's decision, the military commission transferred 50,000 troops." Unquote. When asked by the judge who made the decision to impose martial law in parts of Beijing, Xu Qinxian answered, quote, "Vice Chairman Yang called a meeting of a few people." Unquote. In other words, a few people held a meeting and decided the fate of an entire nation. Key point 3. What the butchers were afraid of. In Xu Qinxian's written self-criticism, read aloud by the prosecutor, it said, quote, "Chairman Deng clearly stated that we should try to avoid bloodshed, but also not be afraid of bloodshed, not be afraid of international reaction, and not be afraid of a bad reputation." Unquote. If they were not afraid of bloodshed or bad reputation, what were they afraid of? Peng Cuifeng's testimony cited an emergency Central Military Commission meeting. Quote, "They are not asking for democracy. They want to overthrow the Communist Party. Their first targets are Comrade Deng Xiaoping and Comrade Li Peng. They demand that everyone over 70 step down." Unquote. This shows a real fear. They felt losing power. They felt the people overthrowing the party. The trial testimony shows that the top leadership was in deep panic. They believed the situation was close to total loss of control. They thought they might soon lose their rule. Key point 4. Xu Qinxian's courage and his fear. Xu Qinxian has long been known as the general who defied orders. This 6-hour video lets us see him up close for the first time. In the video, he does not wear a uniform. He does not look like a battlefield command. He looks more like a calm and polite scholar. His words are simple and gentle. His attitude is calm and dignified. He appears open and honest. He repeatedly asked one question. With such a mission, with weapons, with good people and bad people mixed together, with soldiers and civilians mixed together, how do you carry the martial law order out? Who do you shoot? When he heard that troops must bring heavy machine guns, anti-aircraft machine guns, and armored vehicles into the city, he immediately understood this meant mass killing. That is why he refused the order. In court, he put it mildly, quote, "If things go wrong, it will cause conflict and bloodshed," unquote. He also said that Beijing had more than 10 million people and so many were involved in the movement. Sending troops in would have unthinkable consequences. His courage came from respect for human life. He did not want to kill innocent people. It is that simple. Key point 5. Xu Qinxian's foresight and the deep water he touched. In Xu Qinxian's view, the Tiananmen movement was the biggest event since the founding of the PRC. He believed it was even more serious than the 10-year Cultural Revolution. In court, he repeated what he said when he defined the order. Quote, "I suggested that the Politburo, the State Council, and the Central Military Commission hold a meeting, have a serious discussion on how to handle this. I said the army should be under the state system. The National People's Congress could also discuss it," unquote. History has proven his judgment to be wise and far-sighted. He also touched on a highly sensitive issue. The army should belong to the nation, not to one political party. This crossed a line the CCP never allows anyone to touch. This is one reason he had to be punished. Key point 6. Xu Qinxian's crime and his innocence. In court, the prosecutor admitted that the criminal law of the People's Republic of China had no article that directly applied to Xu Qinxian. They used the principle of analogous conviction. They compared his refusal to join in the martial law mission to the crime of disobeying comeback orders under Article 17 of the temporary regulations on punishing military personnel who violate duties, disobeying comeback orders. This is how they barely managed to convict him. In the debate stage, Xu Qinxian gave a 38-minute self-defense. His reasoning was very clear. He said it was improper to use the crime of disobeying combat orders because martial law is not the same as combat. He explained, quote, in combat, the target and front lines are very clear. Martial law is highly political. It happens in a situation where a small number create unrest, but a large number of ordinary people are involved. Good people and bad people are mixed together. Soldiers and civilians are mixed together. The front lines are unclear. The nature of the two is very different, unquote. So he was punished because he refused to treat the people as enemies. He refused to treat martial law as war. And for those who ordered the killing and those who judged him, the army's enemy was always the Chinese people. Key point 7. The prosecutor's interrogation of Xu Qinxian's unforgivable crime. During the investigation stage, the prosecutor pressed Xu Qinxian hard. Let's watch a short clip from the trial. Please read the English subtitles I added.
我问你2个问题啊。第一，4月下旬啊，就是89年的4月下旬，邓主席有一个讲话，和《人民日报》46社论，你看过没有？
看过。
邓主席的讲话和46社论对发生在北京的动乱的性质是怎么讲的？
动乱极少数人有预谋的。
动乱的实质是什么
？2个否定。
哪2个否定？
否定党的领导，否定社会主义制度。
这个当时你清楚不清楚啊？
清楚。
第2个问题，你是个老军人、老党员。我党我军的组织原则是什么？
要个人服从组织，下级服从上级，全党服从中央。
这个明确不明确？
这个明确。
当时明确不明确？
当时也是明确的。
So at this point, the prosecutor seemed to believe Xu Qinxian's guilt no longer needed proof. He has violated the party's organizational principles. He had shown tolerance toward unrest that negated party leadership. This exchange shows a simple truth. The party's law exists to protect party leadership. Failure to obey absolutely is unforgivable. Key point 8. A pre-staged trial show. The 6-hour show feels like a performance. Witness testimonies sound almost identical as copied from one another. Defense lawyers either gave up defending, were not allowed to defended only after admitting Xu Qinxian was guilty. The most absurd part comes at the end. After the defense lawyer gave a few weak remarks, the prosecutor immediately read a written rebuttal. It was clearly prepared in advance, not a response to what was just said. This was a classical show trial. Its purpose was to enforce discipline, scare others, and give legal cover to the Tiananmen massacre. It was also a warning to other generals who might hesitate to obey party orders. Key point 9. Fear of peaceful evolution and hatred of the West. The court read several foreign media reports about Xu Qinxian defying orders as evidence against him. The prosecutor repeatedly mentioned hostile international forces. He said Xu Qinxian's actions met the political needs of hostile forces and gave them material to attack the party and the government. He also said Western capitalism has never given up its desire to destroy us. These words expose the party's deep fear of peaceful evolution. They also openly show its view of the enemy of the West as an enemy. Some Western figures still believed that helping China grow economically will naturally bring freedom and democracy. They should watch this trial video carefully. They should listen to what party officials say when they think no one else will hear. At the time, no one in that courtroom imagined this video would one day be made public. That's why they spoke so freely. Key point 10, the timing of the leak and the judgment of history. The leak of the full 6-hour video is one of the most serious breaches in the CCP history. 2 days after the leak, both the director and deputy director of China's State Secrecy Bureau were removed. Only very high-level officials could access such material. This level of leak points to rebellion from within. The 1989 Tiananmen massacre was a turning point in CCP history. After it, the party gave up any chance of reconciling with the people through reform. Burdened with bloodshed, it relied on extreme political control and economic incentives to maintain rule. Many people, shocked by the brutality, gave up resistance. They accepted a model of giving up political rights in exchange for economic growth. But today, this ignore politics, just get rich model has reached its end with Xi Jinping's accelerating reversals. And this trial video leak occurs precisely at such a moment. This foreshadows that the blood debts the CCP bears for suppressing the Tiananmen movement and all blood debts owed to the Chinese people before and after, including heinous crimes like forced organ harvesting, have reached the time of reckoning. When that time comes, those seated in the defendant's dock will surely be the executioners who massacred the people. Conversely, Xu Qinxian, tried in the 1990 Beijing military court, will forever be a hero and conscience general in people's hearts. Xu Qinxian was later sentenced to 5 years in prison, but in reality, he remained under surveillance until his death on January 8, 2021. By the way, I've also organized the complete English transcript of the entire 6-hour trial video and published it on my website. I will place the links both to the 6-hour trial video and to the transcript in the description section or the comments below this video for everyone to reference. Well, that's all for today. Thank you very much for watching. Please help me spread the message by liking and sharing this video, subscribing to my channel or following my account on X, and visiting my website jenniferzengblog.com to sign up for a membership or make a donation. And finally, I wish all of you a very Merry Christmas and a peaceful holiday season. Thank you. See you next time.